I like to draw, I like to write, I like to make videos, I like to make stuff, I like to be creative. But the fact is that sometimes I go through periods where I kind of don't. I think of reasons to not be creative, to not make stuff, to not draw. And recently I decided, you know what? I'm going to give myself an assignment. For a solid month, I am going to record my life every single day in my sketchbook. I'm going to create a sketchbook journal for this entire month, and no matter what happens, I'm going to try and do at least one page every single day. And when the month was over, I was really happy. And I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to share with you what I made during that month and how I think you can do the same thing, and what an incredible feeling it will leave you with. So first, let me show you some pages from that journal. This is one of my favorite kind of sketchbooks. It's called the Venezia, and it's made by Fabriano. But you don't need to have a sketchbook like this. You can have any kind of sketchbook you have handy and fill it up. So here, I began with a comic. And this is a comic in which I basically talk about the fact that I haven't been drawing for a while. I haven't been doing it every day, and how it makes me feel, and the conflicts that I was having around it, and how I used to do it more and I don't do it anymore, just beating myself every which way, beating myself up. And then I decided, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to start again. And so that's what I did. That's what the sketchbook is about. So here's the very first page, and I just drew random stuff. I was sitting by the pool, so I drew some chairs. I drew some crackers that I had for lunch. Here are my dogs. Here's our niece, who was pregnant at the time, and here's the house that I used to live in New York. Here again, sitting by the pool and just doing a big old drawing of part of my backyard. Here again, sitting in my living room with my dog sitting on my lap and looking out the window, and I just talked about the fact that my sister-in-law had COVID. And then my wife was starting to feel unwell as well, and it turned out she had COVID as well. So here it is, the very beginning of this month, that I'm planning this adventure, and suddenly COVID enters. And, I isolated a bit from my wife. I started working on a new design for part of our website. I ate some cereal. I made a video, and here I was talking about our dog, whose name is Clover, and we've taken to calling her Clovid. The next day, I took a COVID test. I was positive too. So yes, we had various things that happened that day, but here I am sitting in bed, feeling sorry for myself. This is a painting that my son did, an abstract painting that he did in art school that hangs at the foot of my bed, and I look at it all the time, and I decided, while I'm sitting here in bed, I'm just going to do a careful drawing of that painting and write a bit about it. Here I am with my two dogs being sick, and just getting a lot of rest so that I could get better. We watched a bit of tennis on TV, so I did a bit of drawing of that, and my wife made some chocolate brownies for us, a little treat. We no longer had to isolate because we were both sick. And here basically I was starting to feel a little bit better, and I was writing about the weather and the rain that we'd had, and here I also painted one of the flowers that was popping up, a poppy that popped up in our yard. The next thing was a drawing of the inside of my studio. The studio you've seen behind me in many videos. Here I did a drawing of it. At the beginning of this video, I promised you that I would show you how you can do this too. And to do that, I've created a new course, and the course is called Start Your Sketchbook Journal, where step by step, I take you through the process. Here's a little video I made about that course, and then when it's over, we'll come back and I'll show you the rest of this month-long adventure. Hi, I'm Danny Gregory, and for more than 25 years, I've been keeping a journal in sketchbooks. I call it sketchbook journaling. Clever name, I know. I just carry a sketchbook with me everywhere, and I draw the stuff that's going on in my life. The stuff that I see, the stuff that I make up, the stuff that I'm thinking about, and then I write a little bit about it. I create pages and pages of drawing and words put together. Making this a habit has totally improved my writing and my drawing and my design and my lettering skills. And when people see my sketchbook journals, they always say the same thing. I wish I did that. And I keep thinking to myself, well, why don't you? Maybe you need me to show you how. For more than 10 years, I've thought I should just sit down and make a course about how to do this. And finally, I've done just that. It's a course called Start Your Sketchbook Journal, a 31-day program that's designed to help you to really change your life. And all you need is a sketchbook and a pen, or if you want, some markers and some watercolors and some colored pencils and fun stuff to play with. In as little as 25 minutes a day, you can do this, and I'm going to show you exactly how and what to do every day. It's totally doable, even if you have a super busy life. This has been an incredibly fun thing to do, and now it's an incredibly fun thing to teach, and hopefully an incredibly fun thing to learn as well. If this sounds interesting to you, you can learn more about it at our website, sketchbookskool.com. And then you can sign up for the course that I think has the potential to change your life the way it changed mine. I'll see you in class. I hope that inspired you. Let's go back and I'll show you the rest of my month. All right, so here's this painting that I did of temper sticks of the back of my office. Our dog, our little tiny dog, caught a rabbit. So I wrote a whole piece about what happened when she caught a rabbit, and I did this painting, not of the original rabbit, but of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Did a bit of self-analysis over how things have been going this month, and this is a map of walking with my two dogs in our neighborhood. A little story about getting my hair cut. This is a page about one of my favorite TV shows, Landscape Artist of the Year. I was writing about that. I was writing about the fact that it was the 5th anniversary of COVID. And here's a drawing of my wife buying toilet paper back at the beginning of COVID. I had a hard drive that went dead. That was painful. Here's some clouds over our house, talking to a business associate. Our cleaning lady came. I bought a bunch of special colored refills for my fountain pens, and a friend gave me a bunch of lemons from his garden. So these are little things, but these are what goes into a sketchbook journal. So we were still kind of recovering from COVID, watching TV, and we watched this, which is Portrait Artist of the Year, a wonderful British show, and I just wrote about the artists who had been participating in that, including the wife of one of my favorite artists, Grayson Perry. Wrote a bit about him. Here's my hand that I just slammed in a car door. You can see the fingers almost completely healed now, but yikes. And various other things that have happened to my hand. Here are my two dogs, just talking about how annoying they can be sometimes, and how wonderful they are too. I went to my physical therapist and he worked on me, so I did a sort of Da Vinci style drawing of that, getting leftovers from a restaurant, trying to drink more water. And here we had we set up a screen in our backyard and projected a movie for a friend's birthday, and my wife made this delicious pasta dinner, orchetta. Here, experimenting with green. Another part of my journaling habit is to experiment with different materials and also to create a limited color palette page, all shades of green, different stories, things that were going on in my life. Here's my mother-in-law. Here are a couple of urns that we have with my father-in-law and my brother-in-law's ashes that we recently got. Again, another limited palette where I'm telling different stories about things that are going on with my life, but I'm doing them all in shades of red to just tie the whole thing together, including a little self-portrait where I look a little glum. This is a page that was a disaster. I had this plan and it all got ruined, so I wrote about the fact that it got ruined. We went on a hike, and I also, again, used colors that tied into this disaster just to make this whole page look less disastrous. Spring is here. Spring flowers are coming up. Talking about the things that I ate, including Diet Coke. Just a little inventory. Just stuff going on around the house. My wife having a conference call, friend's dog, watching more tennis. We went to a baseball game. Picking colors for our house, which was about to be repainted. My sister-in-law's birthday, and we had some crabs as a special treat. The painters start in on our house. Stories about my dogs, picking new ceiling fans. Story about my wife and the chaos that our house is now in because the painters are doing all kinds of stuff. Thinking about some anxiety that I was feeling and writing about that, about how to deal with anxiety. This is a little demo that I did where I drew 23 things that start with the letter C. And another demo showing how to draw musical instruments. This is our house before and after the painting process. And a couple of other little stories here. Getting an inflatable alligator for our pool. Going to a new bar that looks like a 1970s airplane. Story about our trees. Feeling anxious about an upcoming visit to the doctor. Here's our stuff in our house that's all covered with plastic. And talking about getting some blood samples taken before I went to the doctor. One of our dogs started going to school, and here she is with her teacher. We went out to this special little restaurant that actually closed a couple days after we went there. Little demo drawing the Mona Lisa, which went through the page and kind of ruined the next page. Talking about garbage being picked up and picking gravel. And my wife and I were forced to work out in the backyard because our whole house was in disarray from the painters. Another bit of self-analysis after I went to the doctor and everything was fine, and I was writing about how it was all fine. This is a whole page, again, done in shades of brown, just talking about various stuff, taking naps, eating pizza, taking the dogs for a walk, starting to hang up pictures again after the painting was done, shooting a video, thinking about artificial intelligence and the Terminator movies. This is, again, just little things that happened. This is actually the time that the barber cut my scalp when he was cutting my hair, having a burger and some pizza. And this is doing a copy of a painting by, was it Goya? I think, yeah. And here is just doing a little exercise in lettering, making El Greco, that's who the painting was by. And here is a little, just doing an experiment in journaling in sort of comic book form, again, all with the same colors. This is planning out the new course that I just told you about, a lot of the work that went into that. And a story about my hot tub in the backyard. Buying new switch plates for the house, and a special electric screwdriver that we bought. Various dogs that I know. My niece, who I talked about at the very beginning, who was pregnant, had her baby, Marlo. And here I wrote about Marlo's birth. Going to the Richard Avedon exhibit at the Phoenix Art Museum, drawing a couple of his photos. And then finally, a little summary comic about what this experience was like, filling the sketchbook journal. And there you go. That's the month. I hope you enjoyed that, seeing a month in my fairly boring life. It's actually quite dramatic. COVID, house painting, baby being born. But that's every month. It's got some excitement and a lot of the same. But you can still fill an entire sketchbook with those stories. So I hope that you'll go and check out our website and watch and learn a little bit more about Start Your Sketchbook Journal, our new course, it's the course that I've been waiting for 10 years to make, and I finally got around to doing it. So I hope you will join me in doing it and in exploring the whole world of sketchbook journaling. It's fantastic. It's so wonderful, and I guess gives you a great opportunity to practice your skills, but also to learn more about your life and to realize that it is full of wonderful things and that there are ups and downs in every life, but in the end, it's great. I hope you enjoy it. See you soon.